Yeah, watch it. Got the words on the track. Dead on the boards. Church. Bishop Lamont. Wow. Yeah, the statistics shows my ballistic flows generate big cake, not with candles that spaghetti them O's. I'm so ready, how to pack my clothes. I'm so heavy with no D, how them boys. I rock them gators more than Dundee boys. I'm the real raw deal, y'all just steal decoys. Like
So, and it transformed from fiction into realism, even though it is a work of fiction.
For that green like the for brick, no, not from New Orleans, but can you see me, homie, in mic check, check 1, 2, if it ain't a check a text, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check, check 1, 2, if you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Mic check, check 1, 2, if it ain't a check a text, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check, check 1, 2, if you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Yeah, look around, left, right, up and down.
From the time before everything starts. The second book kind of gets into the very beginning of it, and then the third book kind of ends up the first phase of what happened.
My target audience when I wrote it in my head was basically teenage girls that had read Twilight and were sorry that it was over.
From this reason. And they are innermost beings arsenic.
But you know, you're the bus driver, right? You know, yeah, there he is. You know, that's cool. That's what it was made for.
Mic check, check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Mic check, check 1, 2. If it ain't a check a text, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check, check 1, 2.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Welcome to another great show of APN. We have a lot in store for you today. Actually, we have two guests today again, and our guest, the first half of our show, will be from WLL Enterprises. He does nutrition. I believe he'll be having creating some gyms, the nutritious gym or nutrition gym. He'll explain that to us. His name is Lesie Kevin Wilkes. Okay, he did a book titled Eating Bad for Good Health. So this book is about, he's basically just teaching us, or teaching the children, as well as the adults, teaching the children, this fight against obesity. Okay, so we're going to get into that in the first half. Now, the second half, we will have our political analyst. And our political analyst, his name is Bob Beadles. And Bob Beadles is from Examiner.com. He's been in politics a long, long time. A lot of great, interesting things. As a matter of fact, he has, him and I connect also with, oh my gosh, Teflon moment. What is the book? No. The book that what's that book we all? There's a book that we have out there that talks about politics way beforehand. Ayn Rand. That's what it is. Ayn Rand. And Ayn Rand is dynamic, and it was interesting how we both see these views with an Ayn Rand because she was way ahead of her time. Okay. He's also written something about that as well. But as a political analyst, his book is titled, which is a long title. Go ahead and give it to me. Conservative versus liberal, ideologies and applied economics. I don't want to get to the subtitle, but you know what? We'll get to that because I believe it has to do with poverty. Is that right? My gosh, it's that long, but it has its reasons. As a matter of fact, it talks about how to. Actually, he's going to show us about how the from the government system, all the way to, I guess, the Federal Reserves. He's going to school us, to tell you the truth. He's going to really teach us about economics. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. And you know what? Now he's given me a way to start reminding myself to brush up on my grammar, brush up on these big words. So, look like I got to polish up on that too as well. So I tell you what, we're going to go with the first half. Bob will be in the second half, and I'm sure you're going to have fun and you're going to enjoy yourself. This is going to be a great treat today. We'll talk to you soon, and I'll see you in a few moments.
Why should our kids eat healthy? That's a good question. What happens when they don't eat healthy? Well, eating unhealthy leads to an unhealthy life. What can it lead to, you may ask? It can lead to childhood obesity, which leads to diabetes, high blood pressure, and also heart problems. It also can lead to our kids taking medicines at an early age and also extended hospital stays. How can we bring awareness to our kids about childhood obesity? How can we bring awareness to our parents about childhood obesity? Bringing awareness to our kids and their families about childhood obesity helps the whole family. Everyone is healthy and everyone is happy. I think I might have a solution. Follow me and let's see.
Welcome back. I forgot to tell you that we're actually going to be doing this not only here in this state, in Michigan, but we're also going to be connecting with Kevin, Lesie Kevin Wilkes, up in California, actually. So without further ado, and you're going to be the first time anybody on TV is going to see me with my glasses on. Yes, yay! Anyway, I tell you what. Okay, we're going to get this party started, and we Kevin?
Yes.
How you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, watch it. Got the words on the track. That on the boards. Church. Bishop Lamar. Wow. Yeah.
Do you believe in love at first sight? Do you believe in meeting your soulmate on sight? How about Eskimo kisses in the midst of a blizzard? What about us having a future? Do you believe in love at first sight? Do you believe in meeting your soulmate on sight? How about Eskimo kisses in the midst of a blizzard? What about us having a future?
And yourself?
Doing fine, doing fine. You know, it's funny. I've never, ever in all these years, I have never went on the show. I don't think I ever did go on the show wearing glasses. But you know what? I need it because as I'm reading, as age kicks in. As I'm reading, I can't even hardly see it no more. So, and this is tiny writing.
Well, I have mine on too, so don't feel bad.
Woo! As a matter of fact, if you don't mind, I would like for you to stick around because we have a political analyst. Awesome gentleman. His name is Bob Beadles. And the title is Conservative versus Liberal Ideologies and Applied Economics. I've asked him to, if it's okay, that they have you to stay on board with us on the second half. And he said, sure, it's not a problem. So we're going to have a lot of fun also as well. So this is going to be good because I see I'm trying to mix in with health and politics. This is going to be interesting. Health and politics. But nevertheless, we are going to talk about something with yours, which, like I said, I'm going to put my glasses on here. And you know what? I do want to start off. The first thing we'll start off is a little bit of history about you. So since you're with WLL Enterprises Incorporated, tell us about yourself.
Okay, I'm born and raised in Compton, California. I was the youngest of in the Elizabeth Wilkes. Growing up in Compton, I was in one of the most notorious neighborhoods in Compton, and I outgrew the myth. I lived to be past the age of 26. That was probably the cutoff date age in Compton, growing up in the 70s and 80s. I always look for a challenge in life. So 30 years later, I have 4 companies. And the last of the 4 companies is the nonprofit organization WLL Enterprises, with our main goal is to fight childhood obesity and also bring awareness to healthy eating.
Wow. Yes. You know what? That's interesting. You were born and raised in Compton.
Yes, I was.
Wow. And there was somebody I was connected with. You know what? Sometimes I feel like I'm just getting old. It was
Tim James.
Thank you. That him and I used to work at Paramount together.
Cartoonist.
Yeah, the cartoonist. Yes, and he's a singer. Because remember, him and I worked together at Paramount. And it's funny how we all I'm in Michigan and we all connected. But what's funny is when you mentioned, I just want to go back to when you was mentioning about Compton, and I can verify it's insane up there because I lived there for a few months in Compton. I moved to Watts, and then Watts, I ended up in 116th and San Pedro in South Central. And from there, of course, we all know about the cardboard box because, I was stuck. Stuck 11 years. 11 years there. And oh my gosh, that was insane. But you being able to make it out, doing what you're doing. Okay. Matter of fact, didn't you mention something about you was obese yourself?
Yeah. Growing up, I was real slim. Uh-huh. And as you get older, you get comfortable with what you're doing, and you just kind of let yourself go. So, looking at that, and then that brings on health problems. So that's the reason why my first company was I've dealt in heavy equipment all my life. And with the construction field out here, up and down, I said it's time for me to make a change. So I was looking at the news and reading reports and things, and the government were stressing two things. One was the environment, and two, they were stressing kids, obesity. So I figured if I was going to go with the environment, so I came out of my elements and went to did a little research and started studying on childhood obesity. I'm a certified nutritionist, and also I'm certified in fitness and exercise.
Wow. Incredible. Yes. Wow. Your book titled Eating Bad for Good Health. That was something just to digest it alone, just by the what you have. The book, Eating Bad for Good Health, what inspired you to write that book?
Well, being the best way to get the recognized, the company recognized. So, and my target age group was between the age of 5 and 13. So I said, well, I just came up with a bright idea one day. I'm going to write a book. So, it was a coincidence that I was at a restaurant and I ran into Tim. All the waitresses knew Tim, and they said every time he would leave, he would draw little pictures and give it to them. So one day I and I met him and I told him what I was doing, and he said, anything I can do to help you, let me know. So I told him I'm writing a book. He said, well, if you need illustrations, I got you. I sent him the transcript, and he said, who's going to publish your book? I said, I have no idea. He said, I got somebody for you. And that's when he introduced me to you. So that's how we all came together.
Oh, wow. Really? Through a restaurant, huh?
A restaurant.
And somehow we meet up right here at this moment. That's very interesting. And you didn't know that, he told you, but you didn't know that him and I worked up there.
No, later on, after he started doing the drawing and he asked me about publishing the book, he said, I got somebody for you. And then that's when he told me that you all used to work together at the studio.
Yeah, watch it. Got the words to the track. Dead on the boards. Church. Bishop Lamar. Wow. Yeah.
You ever had a dream where you just want so much for yourself, but you don't know how to get there because you don't have many options, but you do anything for your loved ones, your mom, your dad, family members, to the point you don't even know how to get there. You just know the ending result, but you don't even know the middle of how it's going to all happen. And you have to deal with waking up and not having stuff to aspire to, seeing boarded up homes and shattered dreams, and kids not even wanting to play outside. It's like my dad had the American dream of owning a home, which he did. In my small town of New York City, everyone has dreams, but too many are too scared to chase them. I don't want to focus on what society tells me I can and will be. I want to be so naive that dreaming is like anything that my mind creates, it can happen. I want to be fearless in chasing any goal I set my mind to. I want to catch anything that I feel like I deserve, that I feel that's owed to me for my diligence of hard work and being patient and always being at the moment. I feel like I'm always at the right place at the right time. Even my environment now, I know it's all for a reason. It's to for me to inspire somebody to say they can do this and they can do that, to go after what you feel like you deserve. That's what I want to live for. And when I die, that's what I want to stand for. That's what I want my legacy to be. Is to be a dreamer. A dreamer of the boy who caught 22.
I think that's your number one goal is having the kids in mind, and this thing with this doing these type of surgeries for the children. I think it is. I'm glad that you have a. I'm honored to know that you are actually having books out to change the direction for the children's health from negative to positive. As I like that, eating bad for good health, and at the same time, you're changing a mental direction, and hopefully for a lot of parents, because those type of surgeries, it's not healthy and it's not safe, because not only having that type of surgery, but you automatically force your children to start going into a certain type of diet because of the surgery itself, and that's not healthy. And then as a kid wants to eat at the natural pace again, they don't know anything about exercising or nutrition, because they'll get back into their same routine. They're children.
That's so true.
So yes, your book, your company, WLL Enterprise Incorporated, plus, you know what? I got one more. I mean, I could go on. You got the gym thing, which you didn't explain to us yet. Go ahead quick. I'm going to have you on the second half with our guest. That's going to be awesome. But whatever you know what, the gym, please explain about how you incorporate the gym and the nutrition together.
What we do is right now we're in contact with YMCA and the Boys and Girls Club, and we're preparing to do a program within their organization also, where we do the fitness with the kids, all floor exercises, weekly basis, and try to help them change the diet for their family. Because when you change the diet for the kids, you're not only helping the kid, but you're helping the whole family. And that's our goal, to change the diet with the whole family. And I do a lot of speaking engagements. You can reach me on my webpage, WLLenterprisesinc.org. If you have any questions, or if you'd like for me to do a program for you, the website, I'm doing some changes to the website, so it should be back up in a couple of days. But feel free to contact me if you have any questions or speaking engagements or whatever you have.
Yes. I'm glad you mentioned it, because you're thinking global and global. I like that.
And you know what? I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but you will see a couple of letters from the First Lady. She received her copy of the book also.
Oh, that's right. She sure did. And as a matter of fact, you got a letter back, and some letters that we can actually see on your site.
Correct.
Of the connections, which is validated and very valuable. Yes. Excellent job. Okay, everybody. I tell you what. On our second half, we'll have Bob Beadles come up. He also gave us the green light to have Lesie Kevin Wilkes of Eating Bad for Good Health. He's going to be joining us in this. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.
Yeah, watch it. Got the words on the track. That on the boards. Church. Bishop Lamont. Wow. Yeah.
Why should our kids eat healthy? That's a good question. What happens when they don't eat healthy? Well, eating unhealthy leads to an unhealthy life. What can it lead to, you may ask? It can lead to childhood obesity, which leads to diabetes, high blood pressure, and also heart problems. It also can lead to our kids taking medicines at an early age and also extended hospital stays. How can we bring awareness to our kids about childhood obesity? How can we bring awareness to our parents about childhood obesity? Bringing awareness to our kids and their families about childhood obesity helps the whole family. Everyone is healthy and everyone is happy. I think I might have the solution. Follow me and let's see.
Welcome back. Okay, now we have our political analyst, Bob Beadles. You know, sorry, I got you right up here. Hey, doing fine. Actually, I should just brung you up on the set, but
that's okay.
I think you have a seat with us, and I'm honored. Thank you for allowing us to have from WLL Enterprises Incorporated, Lesie, Kevin Wilkes. So yes. I'm glad, you have us all here.
Okay.
How you doing, Bob?
Oh.
Good, Kevin. How about you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Yeah, actually, we'll be able to see him right there up on the screen. So
okay.
That's how, we'll be able to communicate.
Okay.
But yes, oh my goodness. It looks like we're dinosaurs in here. Yeah. That's kind of cool. Hey, you know what? Your book title is Conservative versus Liberal Ideologies and Applied Economics. The subtitle, Social Wealth and the Poverty of Tyranny. That's what I was getting, the poverty of tyranny.
Correct.
That's going to be interesting. And it's interesting that we connect on this Ayn Rand.
Oh, yes.
Wow. You know what? I know I've mentioned about Ayn Rand and Atlas Shrugged, which Atlas Shrugged was 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
Was out there. According to this, you actually did this article also, didn't you?
Yes, about Ayn Rand. Alan Greenspan was a disciple of Ayn Rand's. And for years he campaigned to get rid of the Federal Reserve System. Mm-hmm. And then he's appointed head of the Federal Reserve System. But I heard someone on the radio talking about that, and the person I heard talking on the radio said, Alan Greenspan believes in Alan Greenspan uber alles.
But you tied so you mean to tell me Ayn Rand's disciple is actually Alan Greenspan?
Yes.
But he's more into himself.
Yes. Well, I think from what he's been saying lately, he's been saying terrible things about the Federal Reserve System lately, saying that people should get back, that the United States should be back on a gold standard. And maybe he actually thought he could prevent the Federal Reserve System from destroying the United States by being head of the Fed. I don't know, but he did something nobody ever expected him to do when he, was an active disciple of Ayn Rand's.
Interesting. And for you viewers, you know what? Ayn Rand, the reason I said there's Atlas Shrugged, and The Fountainhead, which is interesting. And I'm glad you mentioned about The Fountainhead that's on here. The Atlas Shrugged, SHRUGGED. If you have Netflix, you can actually go on Netflix or Hulu, and you can look at Atlas Shrugged, and you'll be able to find, or Ayn, AYN, Rand, RAND. But Atlas Shrugged, you probably, unless they still have it on TV right now, it is on Netflix. They have 1, 2, and 3, and in a way, you can consider it as a documentary, but it's not a documentary at all. It's actually a movie. Matter of fact, 3 movies, and it tells you how it starts from the beginning and kind of left a closure towards the end, but it's not a closure. It tells almost like, actually, it tells where we at now. And this was back in, how many years ago? I mean, in the 60s or something? Or 50s?
Well, she wrote those books in the 60s when, or prior to that. I mean,
but Atlas Shrugged is the movie also,
right.
The movie itself. But this is all about when she started these getting really into the politics.
Well, all her stuff was about politics. Fountainhead, starring Gary Cooper, is an excellent movie that explains how she believed that big government did no good. It was always harming everything. You know, Ayn Rand was all about freedom. She believed if the government just let the American people alone, they would produce a tremendous amount of wealth that would be adequately distributed among the people. And that's why she wrote the one book, Capitalism, the Unknown Ideal. What she was saying in there is what was when Adam Smith wrote The Wealth of Nations in 1776, he explained that you don't need the government to control a free market capitalist economy because there are market forces that will control it. Competition, supply and demand, along with enlightened self-interest, are all that's needed, really. For instance, trying to think who Teddy Roosevelt was known as the trust buster.
Yes.
Right? Okay, he went after trust. Well, Ayn Rand, I believe, would tell you that monopolies are not a bad thing.
Okay.
Because you cannot have a long-term monopoly without government intervention. A short-term monopoly is all you would have in a free market, and that's good because in the short term a company makes huge profits, which encourages other companies to get into producing products, putting them out on the market, taking a chance to make those huge profits. But a company by itself cannot keep a monopoly in place because market forces will tear down the monopoly. You need the force of government to keep a long-term monopoly. You know, if a company, for instance, tries to buy out all the competitors or undercut their prices, consistently they're going to go out of business. Yeah. And if a company has a monopoly, other companies are going to either create a very similar product that is either better or that they can sell cheaper, or they'll find a way to produce exactly the same product once the patent on that product is gone. They'll find some way to get into the market and the monopoly will disappear.
You know, that remind me of the, there's two things I was asked about. One of them was the, like on the Atlas Shrugged, what you mentioned about the freedom. What about the, and the corporations, what about the, within this, the inventors? Because I remember on Atlas Shrugged, the inventors had, they came up with an ideal for this type of metal for the railroad.
Well, that's
or railways, or you want to call it.
That's one of the things the government. You need government for a patent system, so that someone who creates a product has a patent. The patent cannot be infringed upon. Okay, as George Washington said, government is not reason, it is not eloquence, it is force. Like fire, it is a dangerous servant and a fearful master. He wasn't saying you don't need government. He was saying you need to keep it very small so that people don't get burnt because of government. Well, a patent system is one of the things you need government for because force is required. A court system, you need government for a court system because force is required. You need government for an armed forces. Again, force is required. If there's a system of weights and measures, let's say we didn't have a Federal Reserve System, and banks were allowed to print their own money They would have to back that money with a certain amount of gold or silver. So you would need a system of weights and measures to make sure the banks had the right amount of gold and silver backing anything they printed, any currency they printed. But other than those areas, there's very little you need government for. The private sector will do much better in any area where force is not required than the government.
Oh, interesting. You know what? You answered two things for me. That was excellent. And I'll tell you what. We'll be right back after this.
Just open your eyes, you'll see it's true.
Yeah, watch it. Got the riffs on the track. That on the boards. Church. Bishop and Martin. Wow. Yeah.
Welcome back. You know what? Actually, you answered both questions. I was going to ask you about that, about government force, and I've heard that last night on television, and then you said it again, and I was like, wow, you're talking about a, you know what? Share that with them with that statement again and what it means.
Government is not reason, it is not eloquence, it is force. Like fire, it is a dangerous servant and a fearful master. It means
I'm sorry.
You have to keep government small.
Who came up with that quote?
George Washington.
George Washington. Okay.
That was George Washington's quote. Thomas Jefferson had a number of quotes related to big government. He said, a government that is big enough to give you anything you want is big enough to take everything you have. And he also said, when the people fear the government, there is tyranny. When the government fears the people, there is liberty. So he, like Washington, wanted very small government.
That kind of almost sounds what he meant with the that first quote you just mentioned about force.
They're very similar. Washington and Jefferson were on the same page at almost everything, from what I've read.
I see that. Kevin?
Yes.
Did you catch that?
Yeah, and this brain points out that you really don't realize until it's brought to your attention.
Yeah. That's very, very interesting.
That shows you did a lot of research.
Well, yes.
Yes. By the way, that's what I was going to share. He is also the Detroit Conservative Examiner. Detroit, yes. Yes.
Thank you.
I was going to say, he has backing. There is no doubt about that. As a matter of fact, while I'm fumbling with papers and stuff, I'm getting all excited here. I'm like, man, I thought I'd be running around getting into politics. But actually, he has, that book that's coming out is very thorough. But he is also the Detroit Conservative Examiner.
On Examiner.com.
And on Examiner.com.
That is on Examiner.com.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So Detroit Conservative Examiner is Examiner.com.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. The background that you have within you studied on economics.
Yes, I have a degree in economics, and in fact, I was just talking to someone about it today that my sister, who lives in California.
Are you serious?
In Novato, Novato, California, about 50 miles above San Francisco.
Wow.
Okay. She was telling me that the heroin epidemic was caused by the pharmaceutical industry because they developed OxyContin, and they told doctors that OxyContin was great for killing pain, it was not addicting, and it's terribly addicting. So doctors were prescribing it not knowing that it was addicting. And once people got addicted to it, they discovered heroin was cheaper, and so then they just getting the heroin and...
Oh my gosh.
And see, that ties in with... I took a course called Structural Economics at the University of Maryland many years ago. One of the first things the instructor in that course said was, anytime the government sets up an agency to oversee an industry, you get a revolving door between the two. The industry takes over an agency, and all they try to do is protect the industry from competition. Now, his example was the Food and Drug Administration, which was set up to oversee the pharmaceutical industry. And he said for the last 20 years, all they've done is try to protect the pharmaceutical industry from competition. Well, that's how the pharmaceutical industry gets away with putting out something like OxyContin and saying it's not addicting. They control the Food and Drug Administration. And so you put all these regulatory agencies of government that are supposed to be doing us so much good really are doing us no good at all.
Oh, wow.
And in fact, they're doing a lot of harm. Good example is the, what is it called? The DEQ, the Department of Environmental Quality in Michigan. There's a company up north here named Spartan Industries. They paved over a mud puddle. The DEQ went after them because they said that mud puddle was a wetlands. Yeah. Come on, a mud puddle? So that's definitely an agency we don't need in Michigan, the DEQ.
Wow. So, you know what? You talking about being, scared and very interested in, and you've got so much to back everything up. It's insane. I mean, your book, Conservative, now you're going to have several books of that with different subtitles, but in other words, Conservative versus Liberal Ideologies and Applied Economics is the actual main title for all the volumes that you're putting together.
Well, and it's because, liberals and conservatives have a totally different view. Liberals seem to believe that big government is benefiting them, whereas true conservatives and libertarians believe that big government does no possible good. Give you an example. All wealth is created in the private sector, right? The government that's the reason the government has to tax, because it creates nothing, okay? So as the government takes more and more out of the private sector, less gets produced in the private sector. And what gets produced in the private sector is what is spread around that all of us collect in paychecks, whatever. And if the government takes total control over the economy, so little will be produced, we'll be like the old Soviet Union. Because, like I said, the government's just force. They don't know how to produce products. They know how to control a company, but when they control a company, the company's not doing anything.
Isn't this what Ayn Rand was talking about? Is she from that direction, actually?
That's totally what she was talking about, yes. You can't, you've got two choices. You can have big and intrusive government, which means smaller gross domestic product and fewer jobs and lower pay, or you can have smaller and less intrusive government, which means a larger gross domestic product, more jobs and more pay, and if you ever got to true full employment by downsizing the government to, I would say, about 1/10 the size it is now, companies would have to bid employees away from each other. Okay. So the wage scales would rise right from the bottom up. You wouldn't have anybody not having enough money. And when Reagan cut taxes, at lower tax rates, revenue to the government doubled, charitable contributions tripled. So the people who need money would be getting a lot more than they're getting now because charitable contributions would go through the roof.
I got a few questions for you. Is it okay if you don't mind?
Yeah, I
don't
don't
mind. On this? You write about the connections between economics and government. It seemed like you almost answered that.
Well,
what's the connection? Basically, I'm trying to get is that what is the connection?
Well, any economic system has to run within a political system. You know, you're going to have every country has a government,
yes,
and they're either controlling the economy or they're letting the economy run and produce, and they're giving people freedom, and that's the thing. Freedom is the thing. If people have the freedom, companies, entrepreneurs like Kevin here, okay? He's producing products, he's making money, and the best way in a free market capitalist economy to make money is to abide by what Jesus called the greatest commandment. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, which is also called the golden rule sometimes. Okay. Steve Jobs is a perfect example of that. He gave his customers big bang for the bucks. He treated his employees very well. He paid them very well. He treated his vendors well. He paid them well. Everyone who dealt with Steve Jobs enjoyed dealing with Steve Jobs because he followed the golden rule, and he made a fortune doing that. I would imagine Kevin's probably doing the same thing.
I do my best.
Well, according to the books he's writing, that's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it fits right in. You're there, WLL Enterprises, and you're doing it. You got an organization. You're into the nutrition and health thing, so you're part of the economics.
Part of the economy, yeah.
Yeah, the economy, automatically.
What do you think what we need to change right now I know everything can be changed all at once, but I know it's little things that we need to change right now to help our system.
Well, cutting taxes would be a big one. That would really help. Eliminating the Federal Reserve System would be a tremendous thing to do because you can find on YouTube where Ben Bernanke admitted to Milton Friedman before Milton Friedman died that the Federal Reserve System caused the Great Depression, only 16 years after they were put in place. And Thomas Jefferson talked about that too. Jefferson said, if we ever here it is. The central bank is an institution of the most deadly hostility existing against the principles and form of our Constitution. I am an enemy to all banks discounting bills or notes of anything but coin. If the American people allow private banks to control the issuance of their currency, first by inflation, then by deflation, the banks and corporations that grow up around them will deprive the people of all the property until their children grow up homeless on the continent that their fathers conquered. So Jefferson knew the central banks, the Federal Reserve System is controlled by the same people who control the Bank of England, the Bank of France, the Bank of Germany. They control all the central banks in the world, and they're the wealthiest people in the world. They're not just billionaires, they're trillionaires. So, and they've done this by ripping off the whole world. So getting rid of the Fed would be a real big one. And eliminating the income tax and the IRS would be another good one. Just going to I would recommend personally a 6% sales tax split three ways. 1/3 to the federal government, 1/3 to the states, and 1/3 to the local units of government, and with no other taxes allowed in the country. Because number one, things like property taxes are double taxation, and after a while, at that low a tax rate, you'd have such an economic boom that in the short term, the government would have a real big deficit, but in the long term, they'd start getting more and more money, and employment would go right through the roof. Within a couple of years, I don't think you'd see anybody who was unemployed.
Yeah, watch it. Got the verse on the track. Fed on the boards. Church. Bishop Lamar. Wow. Yeah.
You ever had a dream where you just want so much for yourself, but you don't know how to get there because you don't have many options, but you do anything for your loved ones, your mom, your dad, family members, to the point you don't even know how to get there. You just know the ending result, but you don't even know the middle of how it's going to all happen. And you have to deal with waking up and not having stuff to aspire to, seeing boarded up homes and shattered dreams, and kids not even wanting to play outside. It's like my dad had the American dream of owning a home, which he did. In my small town of New York City, everyone has dreams, but too many are too scared to chase them. I don't want to focus on what society tells me I can and will be. I want to be so naive that dreaming is like anything that my mind creates, it can happen. I want to be fearless in chasing any goal I set my mind to. I want to catch anything that I feel like I deserve, that I feel that's owed to me for my diligence of hard work and being patient and always being at the moment. I feel like I'm always at the right place at the right time. Even my environment now, I know it's all for a reason. It's for me to inspire somebody to say they can do this and they can do that. To go after what you feel like you deserve. That's what I want to live for. And when I die, that's what I want to stand for. That's what I want my legacy to be. Is to be a dreamer. A dreamer of the boy who caught 22.
Louisiana, they had Katrina, yeah. Yep, and we had Granholm or Jennifer.
You know what? The one thing that gets me is like, okay, when I look at my, for the business of the office, and I'm looking at, paying for a bridge, and then I thought about it, and I said, what's funny is, throughout these 40-something years, well, I'm in my 50s, but I'm looking at taxes on toll booths.
Oh,
and then toll booth taxes. But I'm saying, well, maybe I can understand that from being a city guy who was been in the military, and then all of a sudden, I'm in an area where there's no toll booth, and I'm still paying the bridge tax.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of taxes, a whole lot of taxes just need to be totally eliminated. And look at the government is so inefficient at what it does. It is, you see it like I saw today, someone going down the road in a street sweeper. I don't see these streets being any cleaner after that street sweeper goes down the road. That's a big, expensive piece of equipment, and that person riding that street sweeper is making some money. What benefit are we really getting from that? Except when you walk by it, you get a lot of dust in your face.
Do we still have a little bit more time? Well, you know, you know what? It looks like we are running out of time at our control room because this is getting good. This is really getting good. Could you actually, well, Kevin, you have any last words to say?
I just want to thank you for doing to help me get out there. Thank Tim James for his help. Thank my family. Thank I failed to mention that I'm also in Vegas. I want to thank him for taking care of things in Vegas for me when I'm not there. And I just want to thank all the support I'm getting.
Thank you. Yes. And I'm ready to ask tips from you as well. But any last words, because this is just wow.
Well, there's so much that could be done, locally, statewide, and it all has to do with more freedom for the people.
Okay, then actually I encourage everybody to get the book, Conservatives versus Liberal Ideologies and Applied Economics. It's not out yet, but it will be released probably by sometime within the first or second week of June. We'll say sometime in June. We'll be going through the reviews about it, and it will be released out to the public. Again, it's called Conservative versus Liberal Ideologies and Applied Economics, Social Wealth, and the Poverty of Tyranny.
Yeah, watch it. Got the riffs on the track. Dead on the boards. Church. Bishop Lamont. Wow. Yeah, the statistics shows my ballistic flows generate big cake, not with candles that spaghetti them O's. I'm so ready, how to pack my clothes. I'm so heavy with no D. How them boys, I rock them gators more than Dundee boys. I'm the real raw deal, y'all just steal decoys like them duck hunters, runners, blowing whistles, making noise. It's official, tell them nizzles, I'm the dizzle, flow sizzle, flow shizzle. I'm off the hizzy, busy signal. I got that hustle muscle for that green like the for brick. No, not from New Orleans, but can you see me, homie? Mic check, check 1, 2. If it ain't a check, a text, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check, check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Mic check, check 1, 2. If it ain't a check, a text, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check, check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you.
Yeah, look around, left, right, up and down. Ain't nobody like me. Wrist so icy, colors like iced tea. Them diamonds get pricey. Got rich now, everybody so nice to me. I'm a whiz kid, Doogie Howser. Just like the game, snatch your dame, I'm Bowser. Spit hot flames, stay sagging in my trousers. Even on church day, the preacher like no way. And Miss Jenkins like, Lord, take them demons away. In my headphones, Jesus walks by Kanye. Macking to a chickie, trying to get some kissy kissy. You can nibble on my neck, but no hickey.
Mic check, check 1, 2. If it ain't a check, a text, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check, check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Mic check, check 1, 2. If it ain't a check, a text, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check, check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Baby, I'm the bomb diggy. Girls be begging for another chance like I'm Biggie. I run the city, call me P. Diddy. My life's Whoopi Goldberg, it ain't nothing pretty. It's been a long time coming, this ain't happened quickly. overnight, try more like over and over into the morning light, steady trying to get it right.